ওয়েলকাম সবাইকে ক্লাসমেট 24 ইউটিউব চ্যানেলে। ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল কাউন্সিল অফ হায়ার সেকেন্ডারি এডুকেশনের ক্লাস 11 এর সেমিস্টার ফার্স্টের অন্তর্গত অস্কার ওয়াইল্ডের লেখা বিখ্যাত দ্য মডেল মিলিয়নিয়ার থেকে আজকের ক্লাসে আমরা ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ সেন্টেন্স বেসড সমস্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এমসিকিউ নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। প্রত্যেকটি টেক্সটের উপরে আমি ফ্যাকচুয়াল এমসিকিউজ এর পাশাপাশি গ্রামার বেসড সমস্ত ধরনের গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এমসিকিউজ নিয়ে পার্টে পার্টে ক্লাস কভার করছি। আশা করছি 11 এর প্রত্যেকটা সেমিস্টারের স্টুডেন্টরা সেই সমস্ত ক্লাসগুলি ফলো করেছো। যদি না করে থাকো অবশ্যই করে নেবে, তাহলে তোমাদের আগামী পরীক্ষার প্রস্তুতিতে ভীষণ হেল্প হবে। 11 এবং 12 এর প্রত্যেকটা সেমের উদ্দেশ্যে আমার এই চ্যানেলে বিশেষ গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সমস্ত ক্লাসেস তোমরা পেয়ে যাচ্ছ। লাইন বাই লাইন এক্সপ্লেনেশনের ক্লাস, এমসিকিউর ক্লাস, রাইটিং স্কিলের ক্লাস, আনসিন প্যাসেজ নিয়ে ক্লাস এবং গ্রামার বেসড সমস্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এমসিকিউস নিয়ে ক্লাস। তাই যারা যারা এই চ্যানেলে নতুন কাইন্ডলি চ্যানেলটা সাবস্ক্রাইব করে নেবে এবং চ্যানেলটা ফলো করে বেল আইকনটা প্রেস করতে ভুলবে না, তাহলে পরবর্তী প্রত্যেকটি ক্লাসের নোটিফিকেশন তোমাদের কাছে সহজেই পৌঁছে যাবে। ক্লাস 11 এবং 12 এর যে কোনো সেমিস্টারের উদ্দেশ্যে ইংলিশে ফুল সিলেবাস নোটস পারচেস করতে হলে তোমরা ডেসক্রিপশন বক্সে দেওয়া আমার এই হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ নাম্বারে কন্ট্যাক্ট করতে পারো, যেখানে খুবই স্বল্প মূল্যে সমস্ত নোটস এবং সাজেশন তোমরা পেয়ে যাচ্ছ আগামী পরীক্ষার প্রস্তুতিতে। আশা করছি তোমাদের আগামী পরীক্ষার কথা মাথায় রেখে বানানো এই সমস্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ নোটস গুলো আগামী পরীক্ষাতে তোমাদেরকে ভীষণই সাহায্য করবে। এবং আজকের ক্লাসের এই পিডিএফটি পেতে হলে বা যে কোনো ধরনের কোয়ারি থাকলে তোমরা আমার টেলিগ্রাম গ্রুপ বা আমার হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ চ্যানেলও ফলো করে নিতে পারো, যেখানে সমস্ত আপডেট তোমরা পেয়ে যাবে। টেলিগ্রাম গ্রুপের লিংক এবং হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ চ্যানেলের লিংক আমি এই ভিডিওর ডেসক্রিপশন বক্সে সবকিছুর সাথে উল্লেখ করে দিচ্ছি। তো ফিরে আসছি আজকের আলোচনাতে। দেখো, আজকের ক্লাসে মডেল মিলিয়নিয়ার থেকে আমরা ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ সেন্টেন্স বেসড সমস্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এমসিকিউজ নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। তো শুরু করছি আজকের আলোচনা। কোয়েশ্চেন নাম্বার 1, unless one is wealthy there is no use being a charming fellow, identify the simple sentence। তাহলে দেখো, এই যে সেন্টেন্সটাকে যদি আমরা সিম্পলে কনভার্ট করি তাহলে কোনটা হবে? অপশনগুলো দেখে নাও ABCD। There is no use in being a charming fellow without wealth। B তে রয়েছে there is no use in being a charming fellow being wealthy। C তে রয়েছে there is no use in being a charming fellow being poor। আর there is no use in being a charming fellow with poverty। তাহলে ভালো করে ভাবো কোনটা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স হচ্ছে গ্রামাটিক্যালি কারেক্ট হিসেবে। ফার্স্টে আমরা যে অরিজিনাল সেন্টেন্সটা আছে সেটাতে ফোকাস করি। অরিজিনাল সেন্টেন্সটাতে কি দেখতে পাচ্ছি? ইটস আ কন্ডিশনাল কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স। ইট কন্টেইনস আ সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজ আনলেস ওয়ান ইজ wealthy, isn't it? This part is a subordinate clause and it carries a participle with it. Participle clause, there is no use being a charming fellow, isn't it? So the rule is to convert a conditional complex sentence into a simple sentence, we must eliminate the subordinate clause and turn it into a phrase. This is achieved by removing the subject and verb and using a preposition like without to maintain the condition, isn't it? So here we can see that option A will be the correct answer. Why? See, without wealth, it actually replaces unless one is wealthy, isn't it? In option A, here only one subject and one finite verb, we can see subject is there, finite verb is, isn't it? It makes it a perfect simple sentence. That's why option A will be the answer. Others are incorrect. Hope you all understand. Next question, question number 2. Smoke a cigarette and keep quiet. Identify the passive voice. So if we convert this sentence into passive voice, what can we find? Let's see the options. Let a cigarette be smoked and you are told to keep quiet. Option B is there. You are told to smoke a cigarette and to keep quiet. Option C, you are told to smoke a cigarette and to keep quiet. And option D, you were told to smoke a cigarette and kept quiet, isn't it? So here we can see that B and C are same. Some mistakes has happened. I shouldn't give you this type of same sentences. Okay, it's a mistake. Option B and C are same. So here we can see that option B and C will be the answer. Now come to the main or original sentence. This is an imperative sentence, isn't it? It contains two combined commands, smoke a cigarette and keep quiet, isn't it? So imperative sentences expressing an order or request can be transformed into passive voice by using the structure you are told or you are ordered or you are requested plus to plus infinitive. This structure will be followed to convert any sentence into passive, not any, this type of imperative sentences. Okay, so here we can see in B and C the structure is you are told. You are told to, that means verb 1 and the verb 2. So that's why correctly it maintains the structure of a passive voice and formally transitions the entire imperative command into a passive voice smoothly. That's why here, as both the options carries the same structure of sentence, that's why option B and C will be the answer here. But this type of options will not be there or may not be there in the exam. যদিও এখানে একটু ভুল করে প্লেস হয়ে গিয়েছে, এক্সামে কিন্তু থাকবে না, সেখানে কিন্তু সিঙ্গেল অপশনই থাকবে যদি না কোয়েশ্চেন বা ডেলিভারেটলি ভুল অপশনস দেওয়া থাকে। ঠিক আছে, সব জায়গায় তো আর ভুলভাবে অপশন দেওয়া থাকবে না, দুটো সেম। বোঝা গেছে? নেক্সট question number 3. It is better to have a permanent income than to be fascinating. Identify the degree of the underlined adjective. Positive degree, comparative, superlative, none of this. Konta better. Look, we can easily tell which degree it is in just by looking at it. So we have to choose that particular degree from the options. Here are the options: positive, comparative, superlative, and none of this. Now, if we just explain the sentence, adjectives have 3 degrees: positive, comparative, and superlative. Okay, so why here option B is the correct answer? Because the word better is the comparative form of the adjective good. In addition to that, the sentence uses the word than right after the adjective better, which is classic syntactic marker used to compare two situations or two things. Okay, in this sentence also then we can find. That's why option B, comparative degree, will be the answer. Next question, question number 4. Intellectually we must admit he was not of much importance. Identify the simple sentence. Options are: intellectually we must admit about his less importance. With intellectuality we must admit of not having much importance. Intellectually we must admit just he was less important. Intellectually we must admitted about his not having much importance. First come to the original sentence. The original sentence functions as a complex structure because he was not of much importance. It serves as a noun clause here, dependent on the assertion we must admit, isn't it? So to turn it into a strictly simple sentence, we must remove the secondary clause boundary and reduce the second part of the statement into simple noun phrase that functions as the object of the verb admit. So by doing that, we can see here option A will be the answer. Why? The phrase about his less importance, this accurately turns the secondary clause into a prepositional object phrase. It maintains grammatical correctness and gives only one main finite verb combination, that is must admit, isn't it? That's why option A will be the answer. Because the instruction was simple sentence, so it is a simple sentence, that's why. Next, question number 5. He had tried selling dry sari. The underlined word is selling. So what is this particular word? Participle, gerund, participle, adjective, or infinitive. Now come to the sentence. Here we have to explain something. See, gerund is verb plus ing, which is working like noun, isn't it? And participles, there are basically 2 types of participles: present participle and past participle. Present participle is formed by adding ing to the verb, which works like adjective, and past participle is formed by adding t, ed, en, nt with the verb. So in that case, present participle and gerund both look identical as they end in ing, but participle functions as an adverb or helps form continuous tenses, but gerund functions purely as a noun, isn't it? So in this sentence, sailing acts as the direct object of the main transitive verb, that is had tried. He had tried what? Answer will be sailing dry seri. So since it occupies the position of a noun, it is a gerund, not a participle, isn't it? Option B. It is not working here as an adjective or verb. So here it will be option B. Gerund will be the answer. Hope you all understand. Next question, question number 6. When Hughie came in, he found Trevor putting the finishing touches to a wonderful life-size picture of a bigger man. The underlined word is, what is the underlined word here? It's putting. So putting here is a participle, gerund, present participle, past participle now. It's participle adjective. See, here also the same thing has happened. What is present participle? Present participle is an ing form of a verb that acts either as an adjective, modification, or describes an ongoing action initiated by a subject within a clause. Isn't it? That is present participle. So according to the instruction of the sentence, we can say here option C is correct. Option C, present participle. Why present participle? Because in this structure, putting describes an ongoing active state of the object. Object here is Trevor at that specific moment, and it functions as a present participle modifying the object within the secondary verbal phrase. That's why option C, present participle, will be the answer here. Okay, present participle will be the answer. Next question number 7. The poor should be practical and prosaic. Identify the negative sentence. The poor shouldn't be impractical and poetic. The poor shouldn't be impractical and poetic. The poor should be impractical and poetic. The poor being impractical and poetic. The poor should not be practical and poetic. Now come to the rule for affirmative to negative transformation. When transforming an affirmative sentence to a negative one without changing its original meaning, you must introduce a negative word like not and replace the keyword with their antonyms, that means the opposites. So here we can see that option A will be the answer. The antonym of practical is impractical and the antonym of prosaic is poetic. So by saying should not be impractical and poetic, the sentence means exactly the same thing as the original sentence while using negative syntax. That's why option A will be the answer. Okay, option A. Next question, question number 8. In question number 8, what can we find? To make matters worse, he was in love. Identify the complex sentence. Here are the options. He was in love so that he could make matters worse. He was so in love that he could make matters worse. He was in love for making matters worse. He was in love because of he could make matters worse. See, what type of sentence the original sentence is? The original sentence is a simple sentence containing an introductory infinitive phrase to make matters worse. So to turn into a complex sentence, the phrase must be expanded to a dependent subordinate clause, isn't it? We have to use a connector like so, that, etc. So here we can see among these options, option B is the correct. Why B is correct? Because it introduces the subordinate conjunction structure so that this successfully creates a principal clause like he was so in love and the subordinate clause that he could make matters worse, turning it into a complex sentence. Understand? That's why option B will be the answer. Next question, question number 9. He was a strange, rough fellow with a freckled face and a red rat beard. Identify the complex sentence. What will be the complex sentence? See, option A, B, C, D. ভালোভাবে প্রত্যেকটা option follow করো. Here we can see that option A is the correct answer. Come to the original sentence. What we are told? We are told to transform it into a complex sentence. Here the sentence isn't simple, the original sentence. So a simple sentence with a descriptive prepositional phrase like with a freckled face can be converted into a complex sentence by turning that phrase into an adjective clause. So here in option A, the relative pronoun who introduces an adjective clause, who had a freckled face. Since the main clause is in the past tense, the relative clause must also correctly use the past tense. That's why had is there, making this option A perfectly correct, isn't it? So option A will be the answer. Next, question number 10. I think it is dreadful that one should be so miserable. Identify the sentence with noun form of the underlined word. See, underlined word is here miserable. Miserable noun form will be misery, isn't it? Misery will be the noun form. So options are, I think it is dreadful that anyone should be in misery. I think it is dreadful that anyone should face misery. I think it is dreadful that anyone should have to be miserable. I think it is dreadful that anyone should be so misery. Now, here we can see the word miserable is an adjective. The abstract noun form of this word is misery, isn't it? So, misery we can find in misery in option A, B and D. So, among these options, we can see that option A will be the correct answer. Why? Because it clearly replaces the adjective miserable with the noun phrase in misery. And this perfectly satisfies the constraint of using the noun form while maintaining completely sound natural English grammar, isn't it? That's why option A will be the answer. Next question 11. The beggar himself was standing on a raised platform in a corner of the studio. The underlined word raised. Raised is a participle, past participle, present participle, gerund and participle adjective. So which one will be the correct? Here correct answer will be option D, participle adjective. See, when a verb form directly modifies a noun to describe its condition or state, it functions as a participle adjective. So here the word raised directly qualifies the noun platform. What kind of platform it is? Isn't it? A raised platform. So because it is a past participle form acting completely as an adjective, it is best classified as a participle adjective. That's why option D will be the answer. Isn't it? Option D. And the last question of today's class. He walked across the studio and slipped the sovereign into the beggar's hand. See, identify the complex sentence. Here are the options. A, B, C, D. Look carefully. See, the original sentence here is a compound sentence joined by the coordinating conjunction and. So, what's the rule? The rule for conversion is to change a compound sentence into a complex sentence. We must turn one of the independent clauses into a dependent subordinate clause using a relative adverb or pronoun. So, among these options, we can see option A is correct. Why? Because it uses the relative adverb where to connect the location to the action that happened inside it, transforming the second part into a subordinate clause. Okay, that's why option A will be the answer. Understand? তো এই ছিল মডেল মিলিয়নিয়ার থেকে ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ সেন্টেন্স বেসড খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ কিছু এমসিকিউস। আশা করছি এই এমসিকিউ গুলো প্র্যাকটিস করে গেলে আগামী পরীক্ষার প্রস্তুতিতে মডেল মিলিয়নিয়ার থেকে ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ সেন্টেন্স বেসড যে কোনো ধরনের এমসিকিউ বা কোয়েশ্চেন এলে তোমরা অনায়াসেই সেটা ফেস করতে পারবে। আশা করছি প্রত্যেকটা কোয়েশ্চেনের যে অ্যান্সার গুলো ভালোভাবে সবাইকে ক্লিয়ার করতে পেরেছি। কারো কোথাও অসুবিধা নেই। কার কেমন লাগলো জানাবে। ভালো লাগলে একটা লাইক এবং একটা শেয়ার করে দেবে এবং চ্যানেলটা ফলো করে বেল আইকনটা প্রেস করতে ভুলবে না। তাহলে পরবর্তী প্রত্যেকটি ক্লাসের নোটিফিকেশন সহজেই তোমাদের কাছে পৌঁছে যাবে। এই ক্লাসটা এখানেই শেষ করছি। দেখা হচ্ছে এর পরবর্তী ক্লাসে আরো এক সেট বিশেষ গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সমস্ত এমসিকিউস নিয়ে।